Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Can't wait to get into today's topic, how to protect and brighten your eyes as you age. Because as we know, typically with age comes dullness and dryness of the eyes. Our eyesight begins to suffer. We get more eye strain. Oftentimes after the age of about 35 or so, sometimes even younger, a lot of people move towards glasses. Now, let's get in today to what to do for your eyes. Basically, the vibrance of your eyes as they age, get back that sparkle that you may have had in your youth. And maybe you'll learn as we go through here today some of the reasons why it left in the first place. So one of my big things is I love to learn. I love to be able to share that education. And I know that you'll know some of these, no doubt about it, but hopefully there's a couple that you'll be able to pick up as well. So the very first, of course, whenever we talk about the de-stress protocol, right, that I've talked about now for many, many years, we want to start with diet. We want to start with nutrition. What are we putting in our body that may not be giving our eyes the same vibrance they had in the past? Well, the very first one we want to think about is that one of the biggest reasons why our eyesight starts to go, we might even get floaters in the eyes, and we get that dullness, is oxidative stress. So what's oxidative stress? Well, literally everything we come in contact with. I know that that sounds kind of crazy, but through a human organism, when you are trying to detox microplastics and mycotoxins from mold and heavy metals and everything else, we create oxidative stress in the body. Every time you get a virus, your body fights that virus. There's inflammation, there's oxidative stress. Well, the oxidative stress doesn't typically take place just in one area, right? Those free radicals move through the body. And why are the eyes the most vulnerable? Well, one of the reasons is that the capillaries that feed the blood to the eyes are so small that they become damaged over time and we lose that circulation and blood flow. Well, how do we start to squelch free radicals? There's some great ways to do that through good quality nutrition. One of the things is obviously get your antioxidants. Now, what is that? It's the 7 to 9 servings of brightly colored fruits and veggies that we talk about. Berries, couple cups a day, great to start. And then also your leafy greens, plus of course, all your other rainbow of colors. I have a previous show of how each color of each fruit and vegetable actually leads to different health. I'll link that up here today. It'll be at stephencabral.com/3345. But two of the antioxidants that we really would love to have more of that are specific for the eyes are lutein and zeaxanthin. And those two are very protective for the eyes. We'll be talking about those more towards the end, and specifically one other brightly colored red, dark red antioxidant as well. All right, so where can you find some of these lutein and zeaxanthin? In leafy greens, as I was just speaking about. One of those is spinach and one of those is kale. Yes, I know there can be oxalates and other issues with those. If you have high oxalates, then you'll want to cook those down. And if you have, well, you also might want to find out why you may have a high oxalates. Sometimes it's lack of B6, magnesium, kidney-based issues, dehydration, etc. So, all right, the next one I want to go over is omega-3 fatty acids. We run thousands, probably tens of thousands of labs just of this one each year. And I can tell you, the average healthy person is a 6.67 to 1 ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s, and it should be about a 3 to 1. So we need more omega-3s, brightly colored fish, right? So the trout, the salmon, those are great places, but also mackerel, sardines, anchovies, walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds are also good, but nowhere near the potency of the wild-caught fish. All right, vitamin A, beta carotene, sweet potatoes, carrots, and even liver are a great place to get those. Vitamin C, vitamin E, lots of fruits and veggies in general. Berries, kiwis, though, are one of those too. Bell peppers, great for getting your vitamin C. And then zinc and copper. So zinc and copper, anabolic mineral, help to rebuild the body. Really important. Pumpkin seeds, grass-fed beef, things like oysters, a lot of zinc and copper in those. All right. Second thing we want to do is we want to be careful of blue light exposure. So not even just at night. At night, it's more damaging because the human body was never meant to see blue light at night. So the blue light wanes during the day, and then what increases the green and then eventually red. And so what happens is we get longer waves at night. It's much gentler on the eyes. We can watch the sunset, great for lowering cortisol, and then increasing melatonin, which means it lowers our stress hormone, and then it increases our sleep hormone. So it's an amazing system the body already has built in through the eyes. Literally, watching the sun set tells the pineal gland and other parts of the hypothalamus in the brain, now it's time to lower cortisol. So we get that little feedback loop that says, hey, adrenals, calm down with the cortisol production. We are going to now produce more melatonin. And that's essentially synthesized from tryptophan and serotonin, all these great things leading to serotonin and then melatonin. So let's reduce our blue light exposure at night, turn down those blue lights towards sunset, turn on more of your amber lights like your salt lamps, etc., and put on a pair of blue light blocking glasses, especially if you're using any screens. And of course, if you're using screens, switch them over to night mode, a couple hours before bed, put away all screens. All right. Third one is this. Most people, they just are not hydrated enough. That's the truth. Now, are they chronically and radically dehydrated? Probably not. But are they truly hydrated at a cellular level? No. One of it is because they're missing their minerals. The second is that the water they're drinking is just poor. It's just tap water or filtered dead water. And the other reason is they're just simply not getting enough. Most people need about half their body weight in ounces of water per day. 160-pound person need about 80 ounces of water per day. That's about 10 glasses, right? And that's your minimum before you start to sweat. Hydrogen water, that also is a great way to get really absorbable water and a ton of antioxidants. So a really nice one as well. My favorites are at stephencabral.com/hydrogen-water if you're ever looking for a good hydrogen water machine. All right, next up is protecting the eyes against UV damage. Now, I am not someone that believes that you should be wearing sunglasses all day long. I am not in that camp at all, just like I'm not in the camp that you should wear sunscreen all day long either. So there is a lot of detriment to wearing sunglasses all day long, and there's a lot of detriment to always having sunscreen on, especially if you don't need it, because we're blocking pores, we're putting things that are in the sunscreen that shouldn't necessarily be absorbed through the skin. And with sunglasses, we actually don't want to block all the blue light during the day. So it gives us energy. And we want some of those rays from the sun that are actually healthy for the human body to come through the eyes. But what we want to be careful of is not staring, like if you're out on a lake and the sun is beaming off of that lake all day long, possible damage to the eyes. Same with actually in the bright snow. So believe it or not, skiing in the bright snow, most people wear tinted goggles, but there's a time and place for sure to wear those as well. And then the last one I wanted to share there is if you do need to, put on a hat instead of sunglasses as well, and that kind of buffers the sun rays into the eyes as well. Okay, so the fifth one I want to share with you here today, we just have a couple more. I've got a few more that I think are really important for you. Improving circulation, and this is an easy one. So a nice one is a hot compress on the eyes to bring blood flow to the face. I love actually doing that in the morning and before bed. For me, again, I have no adenoids, so my adenoids were removed. My tonsils were removed. Genetically, I have very flat cheeks, so I build up a lot of like puffiness around the eyes. Never even to mention that I have high histamine issues, etc. In the past. So I had high levels of mast cell production. So for me, what I try to do is always balance the overall inflammation, puffiness around the eyes. And so some people it's easier than others. But again, genetics are genetics. They are part of the equation, but you deal with it, right? You always deal with the hand that you are dealt, and that's okay too, because we all have pros and we all have cons, and we just kind of work with the cons and kind of double down on our pros, and that it's all good. So one thing I can share with you though is there are great eye creams that you can use that are all natural. I've spoken about the One Skin eye cream before. That's on my resources page. All my great resources are at stephencabral.com/resources. But another one, that hot compress depuffs the eyes as well. You can use cucumber slices. Some people use black tea bags. But one more I wanted to share with you. Sleep with your head slightly elevated, not a lot elevated, because you don't want to basically a crick in the neck, right? Or whatever you want to call it, basically create the levator scapulae and the trapezius muscles get all tight on one side. But you want to be slightly elevated because you actually want the fluid to drain down a bit at night from the head. Okay, you don't want it to stick in the head, around the eyes as well for the pressure around the eyes. Okay, number 6 is this. Prioritize sleep. Now, sleep is great because the eyes are closed, so the eyes get to rest themselves, which is amazing, but sleep is really the only time for that rejuvenation that's taking place. Maybe you take a little nap during the day, maybe, right? Most people don't, but what you want is to be able to give your body time to naturally rejuvenate. And you can check out my previous podcast on how to boost stem cells naturally, especially when we're sleeping too. We can use those to rejuvenate the body. Again, I'll link up that show at stephencabral.com/3345. And if you ever can't find a show or if you have a question, feel free to write in, completely free at cabralsupportgroup.com. All right. Number 7 is reducing oxidative stress. We spoke about that, but it's getting rid of all these toxins in our body. If you have heavy metals, do a heavy metal detox. If you haven't done a functional medicine detox before, start there. That overall begins to ramp up phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification. If this is brand new to you, go to stephencabral.com/courses. There's a free course on a functional medicine detox. To me, it's foundational learning for how to stay healthy in an unhealthy world. That's the truth. And doing a functional medicine detox doesn't cost more than the cost of food. So definitely check that out. That's at stephencabral.com/courses, completely free. And that's the detox-based course. So support liver detoxification, support kidney detoxification, sweat. If you can, use a sauna or a filtered water steam, but get these toxins out of the body from the inside out. That means having at least 1 bowel movement per day. And if you can, get a sweat on 4 to 5 times a week at your minimum. The last one I want to share with you are supplements that do work for the eyes specifically. Not a lot that you really need to look at, but the ones that we know for sure work. Of course, any antioxidants work, but specifically these 3. It is lutein, zeaxanthin, and something called astaxanthin. So we talked about lutein and zeaxanthin and the dark leafy greens and all that, but the astaxanthin, that's in your omega-3s because you know you need your omega-3s. So now you get a 2-for-1 by increasing your brightly colored fish like wild salmon or wild trout. You can actually get more omega-3s with astaxanthin because it's that pink red color that's going to give you that astaxanthin. Of course, you can supplement with all of these. I use a product in my practice called Daily Eye and Vision Support. I believe that's the name of it. It doesn't exactly roll right off the tongue, but it tells you exactly what it is. Daily Vision and Eye Health is what it's called. And so that's the product that I use that contains all of these nutrients. It contains the zeaxanthin, you want about 4 milligrams, the lutein, you want about 20 milligrams, the astaxanthin, you want at least 2 milligrams. And then there's a great antioxidant in there called Mackay berry and then bilberry as well. So, and then there's also ginkgo for circulation. So those are great products. The vitamin, the omega-3 that I spoke about before, you want about 2 to 3 grams per day. Again, we run tens of thousands of that lab, probably the most in the world. And I only say that to you simply because, we know what works. We know what it takes to move the needle. It's 2 to 3 grams of high EPA to DHA fish oil. The fish oil should be a 2 to 1 of EPA to DHA or greater, because EPA converts to DHA, but it's very difficult to have that happen the other way around. And then, of course, just a good daily activated multi or daily nutritional support. And the reason being for that, you want your zinc, you want your copper, you want your vitamin A, you want your B vitamins in order to help with methylation processes and so much more. So that is it. Those, if you check off those boxes, without a doubt, you are going to feel your eyes begin to come back to life. If you start to feel the vision issues or the dullness, all of this is extremely helpful. And of course, just trying to cut down as much as you can. And I know it's not easy with all of the screen time. So all of the links here today, I can't link up nutritional supplements, but I can link up previous podcasts and maybe some of the courses that I spoke about that are free at stephencabral.com/3345. Have an amazing day, everyone. Let me know if there's any questions. And of course, do share the show with anyone you believe it could serve. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.